Hello, this is Monday, March 1st, 2021. Welcome to my Monday Night Poetry. I'd first like to thank all of you that had an opportunity to um, go view my Facebook page over the last 28 days of February for Black History Month, where I did have a writing prompt or a learning prompt rather, for anyone that was interested in learning about the things that I placed on my Facebook page pertaining to Black history, historical facts, historical data. And for those of you that did that self study from those writing prompts, I appreciate your support. It was really just to gain our own independent knowledge. Some of the things that I placed, I had done research on very in depth, that for things I really didn't know a whole lot about. So it was very helpful to me as well. And I thank you for that. And as we all say and we all know and must live by, beyond 28 days. Earlier last week, or later in the last week, I was on a event show or event Zoom call with Literary Arts, where I shared some poetry. And the writing prompt at that time in that event was visions. So if you missed it and didn't get a chance to tune in to that, I am going to read to you a poem that I wrote specifically for that event titled Visions. I imagine in my mind I'm walking down the street, and a young girl passes by looking at me and I looking at her. And instead of her keeping her head turned away from me as though she is avoiding the stench that she believes reeks outwardly from me, we both smile at each other as we pass one another, crossing over the newly painted mural. On the very narrow sidewalk, I imagine our shoulders kissing one another's shoulders as we maneuver our way through the tight space on the pavement that lies in my hood. I picture in my mind that I've made it to the bus stop, and while standing there clutching my duffel bag from the incredibly heavy laptop within, I look down at this elderly lady that is sitting on the bench waiting for the transit, and I imagine she looks up at me and she smiles, and I imagine later that she quickly turns her head away from me, but not in angst, but because there's simply nothing to fear when looking at me, and as she sits there waiting for the bus to arrive, I have visions that a young black boy actually makes it to his destination safely. He picks up the keys from the mechanic that worked on his Rolls Royce, and he places his license and registration back in the glove compartment so that he continues to drive safely. You see, this is the only way that he knows how to be legal and safe, because he was raised that way. He inherited this state of being. I can see a young group of black boys, could be my sons, eager to learn their rightful place in this world. I have visions that a young black woman will not have to be placed in the back of a police car, but if she were, she will soon again see her children and be able to tell someone of her experiences of being untouched, unharmed, and treated fairly. I have visions that when a young group of young black boys are stopped by the police, that the police will simply talk to them in a manner that shows respect and before they inspect, and one day they'll be able to look back in retrospect that a community leader actually did the right thing. I see these young black boys walking down the street hoping and praying that they'll make it to their destination safely, and I have visions of them being free from harm, free from danger, free from murder. My vision that I manifest. Thank you. I actually took out about 4 paragraphs because I'm looking at my clock on the countdown, about to run out of time. So the full poem I will post later in the week once I have an opportunity to do that. But for right now, this was a condensed version of Vision. So I hope you were able to get a good gist of what this poem is about and find value and find your life and your connection, no matter who you are, in Vision.